Take a moment and allow yourself to settle into this exact second. There is something in the air today, not heavy, not confusing, not overwhelming, but soft, quiet, almost tender. It feels like the kind of morning where the light arrives slowly, touching everything with warmth before you even notice it. And somewhere inside you, a small part of your heart lifts and whispers, maybe today will feel different. That whisper isn't your imagination, it's guidance. The angels are saying, today is the day you finally feel light again. Let those words travel through you like a slow breath. You have carried so much for so long that even the idea of feeling lighter might feel unusual. But still, something inside you responds. Something that recognizes the truth in this message, even if your mind can't quite understand it yet. There have been days, maybe even weeks or months, where the weight you carried made everything feel foggy. You tried to stay strong. You tried to keep moving. You pretended you were fine because everyone expected you to be fine. You held conversations with a calm voice while your heart quietly asked for just one moment of relief. You pushed yourself through routines while silently hoping someone would notice how tired you were. The heaviness you carried wasn't simple stress. It was emotional weight, spiritual burden, accumulated exhaustion. And yet, you blamed yourself. You wondered why you felt this way. You questioned your strength. You tried to snap out of it, only to feel the same weight again the next morning. But the angels want you to understand something crucial. The heaviness you've been carrying wasn't failure. It was transformation. You weren't breaking down. You were breaking open. There is a big difference between collapse and transformation. Collapse drains you. Transformation stretches you. Collapse closes you off. Transformation shifts you into a new version of yourself. Collapse is the end. Transformation is the beginning. And today, you are reaching the beginning. Your spirit has been working quietly behind the scenes, moving old pain out of your heart, dissolving old attachments, loosening the grip of old wounds that you didn't even realize were still influencing you. You may not have seen this healing, but you felt its weight. Healing is rarely gentle at first. It often feels like confusion, fatigue, heaviness, stillness. But today, something inside you is lifting. Your spirit is rising to the surface again. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the way your body softens at the edges. Notice how your mind isn't fighting the moment as much. Notice how your chest loosens just a little bit more each time you inhale. This is what emotional fog clearing feels like. It doesn't happen all at once. It arrives like a quiet sunrise. The angels say, you've been strong for too long. And now, the weight you couldn't put into words is lifting. Think about that, the weight you couldn't put into words. How many times did you say, I'm fine, knowing you weren't? How many times did you swallow emotions because you didn't want to burden anyone? How many times did you sit in silence because you didn't know where to place your pain? How many times did you feel tired, not in your body, but in your soul? That invisible heaviness is what's lifting today. Not because you forced it to, not because you pretended everything was okay, not because you ignored your pain, but because your spirit has reached the point where holding on is no longer needed. There is a moment in every transformation where the pressure stops and the release begins. That moment is today. You may feel like you can breathe deeper. You may feel like your heart is finally expanding after being tight for so long. You may feel like your mind is clearing space for hope again. You may feel a soft wave of peace moving across your chest. You may feel a warm stillness settling inside you. These feelings are subtle but unmistakable. Your spirit recognizes them even if your thoughts haven't caught up yet. This is what healing looks like. Not dramatic, not loud, not explosive, but gentle, steady, warm. Today is not random. It's an appointed day for relief. You reached a point in your journey where the pain has taught you what it needed to teach you. The heaviness has shaped you, sharpened you, softened you in the right places, and strengthened you in others. You no longer need the weight to grow. The lesson is complete. The angels are clearing the path for you. They are breaking apart the emotional fog that settled around your heart. They are smoothing out the tight knots in your spirit. They are opening a window inside you so the light can finally reach the places that were dim for too long. Take another breath. A deeper one this time. Do you feel how the air enters your body more easily? Do you notice the small shift happening inside you? Do you sense something warm, like a glow, in the center of your chest? This is light returning. The angels say, feel the light filling the spaces where pain used to sit. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to rush anything. You just have to allow it. Allow the light to enter. Allow your shoulders to drop. Allow your heart to soften. Allow the old heaviness to dissolve. Allow your spirit to exhale. Because today is the first day in a long time that your heart is truly getting room to breathe. This is why the message reached you now. Not earlier, when you weren't ready. Not later, when the heaviness might have returned, but exactly today. You are stepping into a new emotional reality, one where your spirit is lighter, your heart is freer, your mind is clearer, your body is more at ease. Your energy is no longer drained by what hurt you. Your future is no longer held hostage by your past. Today marks the beginning of that shift. If you want to anchor this energy, you can quietly say, I welcome light. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be perfect, just sincere. Because the truth is simple. Light is returning to you, and today is the day it begins. Something inside you is shifting today, not dramatically, not loudly, but gently, like a soft stream of warm air moving through a room that has been still for too long. It is the kind of shift that you feel before you understand, the kind that touches your spirit before your mind can explain it. This is the energy of relief slowly finding its way back to you. The angels want you to understand something important. You didn't lose your light. It was resting while you healed. Let those words settle into your chest. Because somewhere along the way, you began to believe that something was wrong with you. You wondered why joy felt distant, why peace felt temporary, why hope felt silent, why your heart felt tired even on quiet days, why even simple things required so much effort. You thought you were sinking, but you were actually transforming. The heaviness you carried wasn't a sign that you were weak. It was a sign that you were carrying too much alone. And today, that weight begins to loosen its hold. Think about the last few weeks or months. There were moments when you felt like you couldn't catch your breath. Moments when you held everything in because you didn't know how to let go. Moments when your heart felt stretched thin by emotions you didn't have the words for. Moments when your mind was clouded with thoughts that seemed too heavy to untangle. And yet, through it all, you kept going. You got out of bed even when your soul felt heavy. You showed up for people even when you had little left to give. You handled responsibilities while silently managing an inner storm. You moved forward even when you didn't feel strong. The angels saw all of it, and none of it was unnoticed. Archangel Michael especially has been watching over the tired, silent part of you, the part that felt unseen, unheard, and unsupported. That part of you is finally receiving the relief it deserves. He says, you've been strong for too long, and the weight you couldn't explain is finally lifting. This message is not about what is happening around you. It is about what is happening inside you. The heaviness in your chest is loosening. The knot in your stomach is softening. The tightness around your heart is easing. And for the first time in a while, you can feel warmth where silence used to sit. This is emotional release. This is spiritual healing. This is light returning to the places where exhaustion lived. Take a slow, deep inhale. Let the air fill the spaces that once felt closed off. Let your shoulders sink a little lower. Let your breath travel deeper than it has in weeks. Do you feel it? That soft expansion, that quiet settling. That sense of something being removed from your energy, that is the weight lifting. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating it. You are not forcing it. Your spirit is simply recognizing the moment when healing begins. Sometimes people expect healing to arrive in a dramatic flash. But real healing arrives like this, slowly, quietly, gently, until suddenly you realize you're no longer carrying what once felt unbearable. Your heart is finding room again. Your mind is finding clarity again. Your spirit is finding its own rhythm again. You are not going backwards. You are not stuck. You are not failing. You are emerging. Michael says, today is a turning point for you, the kind your soul has been waiting for. This turning point doesn't require grand decisions or bold actions. It requires openness, receptiveness, willingness to let the light do what the weight could not. Think for a moment about how many times you carried pain quietly, times when you were there for others but had no one to lean on, times when you pretended to be okay, even when your heart felt bruised, times when you protected everyone else's emotions at the cost of your own, times when you held yourself together while falling apart internally, times when you hid your struggles because you didn't want to seem weak. You have been so strong, so incredibly strong, more than anyone realizes. And being strong for so long creates a kind of heaviness that doesn't come from sadness, but from carrying too much without rest. Today, that part of you gets to rest, not because the world changed, but because your energy changed. The angels say, the part of your spirit that was tired is finally breathing again. This is why things feel softer today, why your body feels more relaxed, why your mind feels less chaotic, why your emotions feel more settled. You are stepping into an energetic space where relief is finally allowed, where healing begins without being forced, where your heart starts to feel like itself again. Let yourself acknowledge something important. You made it through things that would have broken a lot of people. You carried burdens that weren't meant for you. You stayed compassionate even when you were hurting. You kept believing in better even when everything felt heavy. You didn't shut down your heart. You protected it. And now your heart is thanking you by expanding again. Michael wants you to know, you are entering a season where your spirit becomes lighter every day. Today is just the first day, the beginning of a rising warmth that will continue to grow inside you. You don't have to push it. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to rush. You just have to allow. Allow the light to reach the bruised places. Allow the warmth to soften what has been tense. Allow the peace to settle in your chest. Allow yourself to feel what you were never given space to feel. Allow the healing to unfold naturally. If you want to anchor this new feeling of relief, you may whisper softly, light is returning to me. Because it is, gently, steadily, undeniably. Today marks the beginning of a new emotional chapter, one where the weight lifts not because the world changed, but because you did. And the angels have waited a long time for you to reach this moment. There is a profound gentleness surrounding you today, something warm, something quiet, something that feels like a hand resting softly on your heart. It does not rush you. It does not demand anything from you. It simply reminds you that you are no longer carrying the weight alone. And that reminder is beginning to settle deep into your spirit. Archangel Michael says, the light entering your life now is not temporary, it is restoration. Let that truth move through you slowly, like warmth spreading through your chest. Because deep inside, you know this feeling is different from all the fleeting moments of calm you've had before. This isn't momentary relief. This isn't a distraction from pain. This isn't a break between heavy chapters. This is the beginning of a new emotional season. For so long, you lived in survival mode. You didn't call it that, but that's what it was. You kept going even when you were exhausted. You smiled when your heart was tired. You acted strong when you felt fragile. You held yourself together while quietly unraveling inside. You worked, showed up, supported others, solved problems, and played your role, while your own soul whispered for rest. There is a specific kind of heaviness that comes from emotional survival, a weight that slowly settles into your spirit without you noticing, a heaviness that becomes familiar, almost normal. But it was never meant to become normal. You simply adapted because you had to. You didn't fail. You endured. And that endurance is exactly why today feels different. The angels say, "You have reached the point where your soul no longer needs to carry what once felt necessary." Think about that. All those emotions you pushed aside just to get through the day. All those silent worries you hid because you didn't want to create more chaos. All those nights when you lay awake replaying moments in your mind. All those mornings when you woke up already tired. Your soul held everything. Not because you were meant to suffer, but because you didn't yet have the space to release it. Now you do. This is why your heart feels softer today. Why your breathing feels deeper. Why your emotions feel less tangled. Why your mind feels a little clearer, even if you can't explain why. Healing has finally found its way into the cracks where exhaustion lived. Michael explains it this way. When the soul has learned what the pain came to teach, the pain releases itself. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to dig through memories. You don't have to reopen wounds. You don't have to force forgiveness or clarity. The healing happening inside you is natural. It's unfolding like sunlight melting frost. Slowly, quietly, inevitably. Sometimes we think healing is a battle, but more often it's an allowing. And today, your spirit is allowing in ways it never could before. You may notice moments of unexpected calm, pauses where your mind stops running, silences that feel peaceful rather than lonely, gentle emotions rising instead of overwhelming ones. These moments are signs that the weight is unraveling. Your nervous system is settling. Your heart is loosening. Your spirit is expanding. Your inner world is shifting from tension to warmth. This shift is not fragile. It is sacred. You may even feel emotional today, but not in a painful way. More like a release, a softening, a sense of "I didn't realize how tired I really was." These emotions are not setbacks. They are exit points for old heaviness. Michael says, you are finally making space for the peace you prayed for. And that peace is arriving on its own, without force, without pressure, without fear. Think about the things that used to drain you, situations that felt overwhelming, conversations that made you anxious, memories that tightened your chest, people whose presence felt heavy, thoughts that wouldn't stop repeating. Today, they don't feel as sharp. They don't hold the same power. They don't take up the same space. Why? Because your spirit is shifting from carrying weight to releasing it. Healing always begins on the inside before it shows on the outside. You are in that internal beginning, even if the world around you hasn't visibly changed yet. Michael wants you to understand something essential. The light returning to you is not replacing who you were. It is revealing who you always were. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to yourself. Returning to the part of you that was gentle before the world demanded strength. Returning to the part of you that felt hopeful before disappointment trained you otherwise. Returning to the part of you that was expressive before you learned to stay quiet. Returning to the part of you that trusted life before life taught you caution. Returning to the part of you that felt light before heaviness settled in. This return is one of the most powerful forms of healing. Take another slow breath. Feel how it moves through you with more ease than it did before. This isn't just breathing. It's reclaiming space within yourself. You may wonder how long this feeling will last. Michael's answer is simple. It lasts as long as you allow it. Light is not temporary unless you push it away. Healing is not fragile unless you resist it. Peace is not fleeting unless you deny it. Today, all you have to do is allow. Allow the softness. Allow the lightness. Allow the ease. Allow the relief. Allow your heart to feel without judgment. Allow your spirit to rest without guilt, because you deserve this. You deserve a day where your soul is not carrying everything. You deserve a moment where you can simply breathe. You deserve gentleness after so much heaviness. You deserve warmth after so much internal coldness. This is not a gift. It is a restoration. Restoration of hope. Restoration of peace. Restoration of light. Restoration of your truest self. The angels have been waiting for you to reach this point, a moment where you finally stop surviving and start healing. Michael ends this part with a message meant to be carried in your heart. Light is not returning to you. Light is returning through you. Meaning, you are becoming the source of your own warmth again, your own clarity, your own calm, your own strength, your own light. And from this moment forward, everything begins to change. There is a quiet truth settling into your spirit now, a truth you may have forgotten, or pushed aside, or simply couldn't feel beneath the heaviness. But today, the truth finally has room to rise. You are always meant to feel light. Not occasionally, not accidentally, not briefly, but consistently, naturally, from the inside out. For so long, life taught you to carry what wasn't yours. To be strong when you were hurting. To be calm when you were overwhelmed. To be the one who held everything together while you were quietly breaking inside. To swallow emotions, silence fears, hide fatigue, and smile through the ache in your chest. You adapted to pain because you had to, not because you deserved it. But now, the light returning to you is teaching your heart something new. You don't have to live in survival mode anymore. The angels say, the season of carrying everything alone is over. Let that truth move into the deepest part of you. Because the weight you've been holding wasn't just emotional. It shaped the way you breathed, the way you spoke, the way you walked, the way you felt inside your own skin. It shaped your sleep, your thoughts, your choices, your trust. Heaviness doesn't just sit in the heart. It settles into the body too. And light doesn't just touch your mind. It rewrites your entire system. Today, you are stepping into that healing. Take a slow breath, deeper than the ones before. Feel how your body responds instantly, as if it knows exactly what to do with the air. Your breath is moving differently now. It's reaching places that were closed. It's expanding places that were tight. It's softening places that were holding old pain. This is what emotional release feels like. Your body remembering what ease is supposed to feel like. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to search for anything. You don't need to fix anything. You just need to allow the light to settle. A part of you may still wonder, is this really the beginning of something new? And the angels respond without hesitation. Yes, your spirit is lighter because your season is changing. You can feel it inside you, the shift. Not loud, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but gentle, like a door that is finally unlocked, like a window that is opened after a long winter, like the first breath after being underwater. This is the moment your heart has been waiting for. Think of everything you've survived, times when you carried emotional storms alone, times when you stayed strong because you didn't have another option, times when the world around you didn't pause while your heart was breaking, times when you felt abandoned but kept showing up, times when you were hurting but still loved others, times when you lost hope but kept trying. These weren't moments of weakness. They were moments of profound strength, strength you didn't even know you had. The angels are not giving you light today because you were failing. They are giving you light because you succeeded. You made it through what should have broken you. Now it is time for the healing your soul has earned. Michael says, you are stepping into a chapter where peace will feel natural again. Let that promise settle into your bones. This new chapter is not about pretending to be okay. It's not about pushing through pain. It's not about carrying more than you can handle. It's not about smiling through the heaviness. It's about feeling safe, feeling light, feeling supported, feeling restored, feeling whole. This is the beginning of emotional ease, the kind you haven't felt in a long time. You'll notice it in subtle ways. Your breath steadies without effort. Your shoulders drop naturally. Your thoughts quiet on their own. Your body relaxes without you telling it to. Your heart feels warmer, more open, less guarded. Your mood softens like sunlight warming a cold room. These are not coincidences. They're signs. Signs that your nervous system is healing. Signs that your soul is releasing the past. Signs that your heart is receiving light again. Signs that your inner world is shifting in your favor. You may even start releasing emotions unexpectedly, not because you're falling apart, but because you're finally safe enough to let go. Tears may come, but they'll feel cleansing, not painful. Memories may rise, but they'll feel distant, not sharp. Your thoughts may soften, not spiral. Your heart may open, not break. This is emotional clarity returning. This is light rewriting the darkness. The angels say, every part of you that felt heavy is being replaced with warmth. Let that image expand inside you. The heaviness dissolving, the light rising, your spirit filling with the softness you forgot was possible. This is not luck. This is alignment. This is timing. This is healing. This is restoration. And the most powerful part? The light is not only returning to you, it is returning through you, meaning your presence will feel lighter. Your energy will feel calmer. Your interactions will feel clearer. Your decisions will feel easier. Your heart will feel more open. Your future will feel more possible. Because when the inner world changes, the outer world follows. This is the beginning of that shift. Take one more breath. Long, slow, steady. Feel it fill your chest. Feel it soften your heart. Feel it spread warmth through your body. This breath is your proof. Your heart is finally free enough to receive peace again. Michael ends this chapter with a final message, the one your spirit needs most. You carried the weight long enough. Now let the light carry you. Let those words become your truth. Let them surround you. Let them guide you into the rest of your day. Because today, your light begins. Not as a promise, not as a hope, but as a new reality. And you deserve every bit of it.